as the Chargers are taking on the Jets at MetLife. And for the most part, the Chargers are laying 3.5 points in the game. You can find a 3 juiced up around minus 120 if you like the Chargers in this game. Taking on a Jets team here that somehow, some way, they're sitting here at 4-3 on the season. And I don't know, the Chargers have been like a fringe playoff team now. The AFC is going to be very, very difficult, but I find it to be a very intriguing matchup. I did bet the Jets plus 3.5. Here's why I don't like it much more today. If they cover the game tonight, I'm 5-0 in the Circa Millions this week.
All right.
So the odds on me going 5-0 are, let me just tell you, I can't remember the last time that happened. So based on my track record here, a 5-0 would be extremely fun for the week, but I don't know if that's possible. Just based on and I'm saying that because I'm superstitious and I kind of want to reverse jinx it if possible. But there you go.
All right. Well, it opened 1.5, and
Yes,
now
it
nothing
did.
but Charger money here. So I laid 1.5 earlier. I can't get there with Wilson, and as bad as the Charger defense has been, I don't think Wilson could take advantage and exploit this awful defense. Big opportunity here for the Jets, though. You can get this one, and you come out here, and it should be a Jets home game, and you could be, next thing you know, you could be 6-3 when it's all said and done. Zach Wilson has thrown for 240 yards just twice. So if this turns out to be a high-scoring affair, can he keep up with Herbert, and will it be that type of game? Because you look at it, it's like, how can a Jet total be this high? But can the Chargers get stops here? I mean, they're dead last against the pass. They're 31st overall. This is Staley's area of expertise. Come on. Where's Mack? Where's Bosa? Can you make some plays here? And then if the Jets get down into the red zone, can they cash in? They're last in red zone, and they're last on third down. So Wilson is skittish. Wilson doesn't know where he's going with the ball. I mean, it's just got to be, bam, get it out. Find Wilson. Get around. Get rid of it. Find Lazard. But you look, and he holds it, and he holds it, and he takes off, he runs, he throws it away. So maybe it's like what you said last week. This is a big game for Breece Hall, that he can get going maybe with some dump-offs in the passing attack and gashes the Chargers on the ground. But this is tough here because the Chargers' defense is so bad, but I don't think Zach Wilson will be able to do anything.
Yeah, that's the point here, right? And when you break down all the numbers, like, for example, against certain positions, the Chargers are 25th in DVOA against wide receiver 1s, 28th against wide receiver 2s, and to your point on Breece Hall catching the ball tonight, they're 29th against running backs out of the backfield receiving. They are dead last in DVOA defending the middle of the field. Think about that for a second. Could you see like a Conklin or Uzuma doing something tonight? Maybe if you want to do anytime touchdown score or first touchdown score, might be an angle there. But again, all those numbers are so bad. But when you look at like EPA per play for the Jets, they're 31st in total EPA per play. Dead last in passing EPA per play. 27th in explosive pass percentage. Oh, and by the way, there's also this. They are dead last in pressure on the offensive line. The Chargers, though, are they good enough with that front? They're only 17th with the guys that they have in the front four.
Yeah.
And when Mack went nuts, it was against his former team in the Raiders when he had those 6 sacks a few weeks ago.
Right. The other thing is Palmer's out, and you would think the Jets and Salah just focus on Allen and try to shut him down and maybe contain the passing attack. I don't know. And then this is something where the Chargers don't run the ball that much, and the Jets' run defense is horrendous.
Yep.
The Jets are near the bottom and stopping the run. So, but then do you come out and you try to establish Eckler and get something going on the ground, or is it more pass, considering Herbert had 360 against him in the last meeting, and Herbert was awesome in the Sunday night game against the Bears? More cause for concern. You're +6 in the turnover battle, Los Angeles. That's 4th best in the league. You have a losing record.
Yeah.
So this is, oh boy.
I will compare, I'll put Herbert in the same group of quarterbacks with 4 other guys so far the Jets have played. I'm not going to include a guy like Ryan Tannehill. But so far, they have played Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts. Herbert is right there with those guys. Josh Allen was 29 of 41 for 236, a touchdown, and 3 INTs. From an EPA perspective, he was negative per play and also negative every single pass. Second worst game of the season for Josh Allen based on EPA per play. Patrick Mahomes was 18 of 30 for 203, also had 2 INTs. His second worst game of the season from an EPA perspective. And Jalen Hurts was 28 of 45 for 280, a touchdown, and 3 INTs. It was the single worst game of the year for Jalen Hurts from an EPA perspective. The one guy who really gashed the Jets, it was Dak Prescott. He was 31 of 38 for 255 and 2 scores. But other than that, Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, we're talking about either their worst game of the year or their second worst game of the year. And that's why I think the Jets plus 3.5, that's why I bet them last week. That's why I have them in the contest. It's not going to be easy tonight. And they don't even bother running the ball. And they're not good at running the football.
Yeah. It's a big Kellen Moore game. You got to see, you try to establish the run because the Jets can't stop the run. So you got to come out and establish that and then maybe set up the passing attack. But I don't know if he's capable of the creativity and what we saw in Dallas. I'm very disappointed with Kellen Moore this year. You also can't depend on Quentin Johnson.
No.
Who's been on a milk carton for much of the year after a first-round pick. And then will Hall lead as well. He's number 1 in yards per carry. Maybe it is an under. Sounds like an under game then. Based on the stats and what they've done against opposing quarterbacks and the fact that you can't trust Zach and you got to run if you're the Jets. So maybe you could see an 8-minute drive that results in a field goal. So tough game, but a big game, important game.
Very much so,
But
Paulie.
if you're the Chargers and you lose this game, look around, man. I mean, you have tough games coming up. You fall to 3 and 5. I mean, again, look at this. Look at all these AFC North teams. I mean, you want to laugh at Pittsburgh. They're still 5 and 3. You're behind the 8 ball here. So as much as we talked about how difficult this is going to be for the Bills, and they also play the Chargers later in the year, but they're $1.10 to make the playoffs. You lose this game and fall to 3 and 5. You become huge dogs to make the playoffs.
Okay,
huge.
So let's pretend that happens for a second here. You're not only right about the Chargers, but if the Jets, think about the weekend the Jets will have had if they win this game tonight. We're talking about not only winning this game as a 3.5-point dog at home against the Chargers. You couple that with a Dolphins loss yesterday and a Bills loss last night. This team would move to 5 and 3. They'd be, a half a game back behind the Dolphins?
Yeah.
And they play the Dolphins, twice yet? They already beat the Bills. They have them one more time coming up. I took them last week around 10, in the 10-1 neighborhood to win the division. They are at 6-1 this morning to win the division. Where does that number go after that if they win this game tonight? Because beyond this, they come out here and play the Raiders. Then they play at the Bills. Then the Dolphins. That's a tough stretch. That's the Black Friday game at home. There is a stretch, though, where they have the Falcons, the Texans, this is how they close. The Commanders, the Patriots on the road. The Dolphins can't beat an above 500 team. I don't know. This team is...
It's Zach Wilson, though. Anything's possible. Again, the Giants had -9 passing yards, and they should have lost the game.
Was that? I don't think Zach Wilson was that awful last week.
They had 7 points. I mean,
well, no, I know, but I mean,
it's a Giants thing. It was bad.
Yeah, I'm saying his. But so, okay. Here's another thing with Zach Wilson. Will Garrett Wilson do anything tonight in the game? Because the Chargers' pass defense, as we've talked about now for a few minutes, is really, really bad. And I bring that up because look at some of the other number 1 receivers or best options have done against the Chargers this year. Week 1, Tyreek Hill, 11 for 215 and 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson had 7 for 149 and a score. Devontae Adams had 8 for 75. CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 117. And Travis Kelce 2 weeks ago at 12 for 179 and 1 touchdown. Can Garrett Wilson, who played well last week, had a good stat line, is he capable of, doing damage tonight to this inferior Chargers secondary?
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to how much you trust Zach Wilson, and that's basically 0.
Right. And I think he's the worst starting quarterback in the league. So I just can't get there. I've seen enough of it. I can't stand it. This team, the future was so bright. They'd be right there with Baltimore in the discussion with Aaron Rodgers. And I just...
No, if they win tonight, I'm telling you, if they win this game tonight, they're in the mix to win this division.
Well...
As ridiculous as that might sound, they are.
Yeah, well, record-wise, yeah, but I just... My God.
You trust the Bills?
No, but this guy couldn't beat the Patriots. It's all Zach Wilson related with me, which the record's a fluke. You were +4 in the turnover battle against Philly. If Philly just runs the ball there and punts, the game's over. You should have lost to the Giants last week. I don't know how you couldn't beat the Patriots. You gave up 13 points and lost that game. You were, what was the turnover differential against the Bills? You needed the walk-off punt return to win that one. So it's much like the Steelers. It's a total smoke and mirrors job. But then again, if the breaks continue to go your way and you're +3 in the turnover battle, there's a special teams touchdown. Maybe 9-8 gets you in. I don't know.
An INT tonight will set him up in good field position off Herbert for sure. Well, here's the thing,
You can't
though,
sustain this. You can't.
Well, when you go back over the years, how many times has a team made the playoffs or won their division, and you're like, how did we get here with this? And they have an elite defense, and the offense just can't do anything, and they have a bad quarterback. It happens all the time. And you were just like, at the end of the year, like, what? How?
Well, it's a big opportunity for him here. Come on. It's Monday Night Football. You're at home. You have a chance to go to 5-3. You're right. They're staring. 6-3 is doable here. So I want to see what he's able to do. See if he can you score 20 points, right? You look good at times against the Chiefs, finally. But then you couldn't carry it over, right?
Well, you would think against this defense, he should be able to look competent tonight.
Right. Well, I would just, again, lean on Hall, though.
Yeah.
Now, no more pitch count, no more of this garbage. Feed him the ball. Give him 25 carries because Cook wants out, and that's no more Cook.
I'm also very concerned about the offensive line, though. I don't know. Who knows how much time the guy will have to throw.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.